It's Friday, so it's part 13 of the Morris Ambulance project. I decided it was long overdue that I had a bit of a go at the windscreen. So this is not the original windscreen. The original glass for these ambulances is incredibly hard to find. I have got an original windscreen, but the first job is to try and remove what I presume is a windscreen out of a boat or something that's been grafted into the front of the ambulance. I am aware that I've smashed the windscreen. In fact, my skill led me to smash every single panel, but I wasn't too worried about this because I was happy to sacrifice this old horrible windscreen in order not to disturb the fiberglass lip, which is behind here somewhere, which is used for the proper windscreen to seal against. So this is the wrong shape, it's in the wrong place, it's just altogether a bit of a bodge, but I can understand why someone would have done it in the past just to get by. But yeah, managed to take it out, and didn't break any of the glass. It's absolutely fine. So the proper windscreen is in two parts. It's two-part windscreen, split windscreen, and it curves all the way around. It's a really intricate shape and quite a nice shape, and it will both transform the visibility and the visual look of this. Now, as you can see at the bottom there, someone's filled in with fiberglass up to the lip. That front edge there is the lip that the windscreen seal sits in. So I carefully went round for hammer and chisel and took off all of that excess fiberglass to reveal the original dash. And this was done a bit of archaeology, if you like, looking at photographs of other ambulances inside. Adam saw an ambulance like mine at the Suffolk show and very helpfully took a load of photographs. So fortunately that's feeding is still in there, because if it hadn't been, it would have been a heck of a job trying to fit the proper windscreen. But in two places it's been cut out and removed. So what I'm doing here is got a bit of flat steel, and I'm just carefully hammering over a weight block just to put a very gentle curve into the steel. Could have done this with the rollers or in the peg, but sometimes this way gives you a more consistent gentle curve. And there we are, just offering it up. There's just two portions that's been cut out, so I was very lucky really, because they could have cut out an awful lot more in order to try and get that boat windscreen in, but just these two bits. And then welding on some tabs, so these will hook in over the top of the fiberglass and rivets in.
But Nick's just sorted the hot air and shit.
Yeah, just take the glass out.
Just buy a pair of goggles now.
Got some of those. With that done, time to start work on the next sort of project, which is the front suspension. So obviously the engine is a bit further back and is lighter than the old cast iron lump. So the springs at the front, which have 14 leaves in, are not giving us any spring at all. Probably not helped by the fact that they're really corroded as well, because obviously the springs flex within the metal, but they also have to slide past each other, so if they're really corroded that will add resistance. At the moment pretty much 90% of the suspension is in the tyres, so the idea is to take these off. I'm going to take them apart, clean them up and take some of the leaves out, either run those, or once I'm happy with the springing, get a spring company to manufacture me some new ones of the same sort. Otherwise, how exactly you work out what springiness they need to be, I'm sure there's a load of maths you could do, but you can't just say it's for a Morris ambulance because things aren't exactly the same. So there we go. As you can see, a lot of corrosion between the leaves there. And then Danny turned up and he helped me get off the other one. So lots of wire wheeling on these springs. It was remarkable really what good condition they were where the grease had been, and also how bad they were where it hadn't. So because we were removing springs, this gave me a little bit of choice of, within reason, of which ones I removed, and then I made a matching pair. So if there was one that was really massively corroded, generally down the bottom, the shorter ones, you could take that out. So I think I removed 6.
2 springs, adjusted, 14 down to something else. What a mess. I actually hooved this bench this morning.
Yes, today's connection was colours.
See if they fit.
And there's a new chain reaction tomorrow
I'll
at
make a
3
spring.
PM here on Absolute Races.
Find it, Toby.
Find it.
It's like a really big shit box of Lego.
So in hammering out one of the leaf pins, one of the nuts, which had been cross-threaded in the past, got further damaged. There wasn't really any avoiding it, so I needed to find a nut. Toby didn't manage to find one in his collection, but I did remember that I had one on an old fire pump I got out the back, so we stole that, and then with a little bit of filing and making a die out of a spare nut, we cleaned up the thread sufficiently to get it back on. And then Danny and I messed about relocating the springs. It's much easier taking them off in a fashion than putting them back on again. And yeah, we messed about getting them back on and setting the height once we'd cleared out the grease ways on the pins.
It's about the right line, but I need to lever the axle forward.
Forwards.
Yeah, the axle's got to come forward.
What if I tighten that strap?
Try it.
The ratchet strap worked, just pull the axle forward just so we could locate the dowel to get it all in. And it was time to give it a bit of a test, so I put on my wearable windscreens so we could run it around the yard and see how the springs felt. Because two things we need to do here is work out what the correct spring is, and then also what the correct spring height is. So the spring might have the right amount of bounce in it, and might have the right softness if you like, but at the moment the front end is pretty low. So I think it needs to come up 2 inches to make it level. I could drop the back down, but I don't really want to because it's got weight in it. Come down anyway. Danny's having a bit of a drive. It's nice and cool, no windscreen, but it's amazing how much structure the windscreen gives the body. It flexes all over the place, which is quite alarming. And also having a look underneath, checking that nothing's fouling, because we have changed the height considerably, so you just check that the steering rods don't scrape in springs and all of that, but that all seems to be hunky-dory. That's pretty good, and it does ride a lot better. Might need slightly softer shock absorbers, but it has now got some movement in it, which will improve everything immensely. So now a bit more cleaning up of that lip and gluing it together where it's delaminated, and next time we'll try and get the glass in.